Okay, everybody, welcome.
Hello.
Hello. Let me just turn off everybody's sound so that we can have a more quiet situation. So you want to speak, please, you can unmute yourself. So I will now share screen. Okay. Today we will continuing from the past 2 weeks. But today it will be more by showing you videos made by foreigners, i.e. Non-Chinese, about their life in China. So it is about lives in some Chinese cities. The first video is about what surprised you most about the life in China.
Everything is like new, tall buildings. Like next week, there's like another skyscraper, and next week, this one is torn down. You know, like this restaurant was here and now it's gone. Too bad, you know.
Hello, everyone. My name is Adu, and this is Ready Go Expat. In today's video, I asked some foreigners who live in China the question, what surprised you the most when you arrived in China? So if you want to find out what surprised expats in China, make sure to watch the video until the end. And if you like videos about life in different countries, expat life, and travel guides, subscribe to the channel. Ready? Go.
How different it was from other Asian countries. Like I thought when I arrived here that part would not surprise me. Like in that sense, I was overconfident because I had been living before in Korea, Nepal. So I was like, I got this. I was so ground. China is an entire it's another planet.
Yeah, the thing surprised me was they have a really vast transportation system here.
Honestly, what I think some of the things that surprised me most was the city streets. How I'd always heard stories about, what do they call it? Beautiful chaos, things like that. The way that scooters and bicyclists and drivers are was surprising to me in the end, because I wasn't expecting people to look for potential openings between cars and then just, yep, that's where I'm gonna go. That I had a few heart-pounding moments in taxis the first couple of days until I understood everybody drives that way, and so it is normal and people expect it. So you don't really get a lot of wrecks because of things like that.
As we all know, China had a huge economic boom back like 15 years ago, but I did not imagine it was like this, like cities, streets, buildings popping up overnight. The way everything is developed, you know, and it's developing in a like super fast way. That was like my biggest, like, in Europe, that could never happen, you know, that way. Well, here, like, I went back home with my wife for a month. When I came back, they opened 2 brand new roads and a building popped up for 1 month.
People don't hug and don't kiss when they greet. And this was my first impact because I struggled when I first got here. I was starving, I was dry because of, I wanted to drink water and I wanted to eat the first moment. And after a while trying to communicate with the woman, she understood me, so she gave me the water and the food and so on. In the place where my room and everything was set, and then I went close to her to give her a hug, and she like, but I could understand her.
I arrived here, I was so fascinated by the change of the climate that I experienced here. That was my first impression. And also I could feel the air is very different here. The smell of the air, it was very humid, and as if lots of plants are blossoming at the same time. It's like filled with all kinds of flavors and fragrance that I've never seen before, and I've never felt before. Then I started noticing that there are bicycles everywhere on the road, just in the bushes, everywhere, just dead rusting bicycles. And I've never seen anything because we don't have any communal bicycle system in Russia. And I was like, whoa, why are there so many bicycles around? The way people dance in the streets all the time, the way people smile to themselves while walking by or singing songs or whistling some tunes. I found it really fascinating because all of this creates this impression of a very chilled and relaxed lifestyle. And my idea during the first days being in China was that it's like a land of very happy and content people.
I think I thought China would be like more, I expected them to be like, not like the Kung Fu movies or something, but I thought there would be more like Buddhism and more like ancient traditions instead of, I guess I didn't realize like the impact of like the communist revolution here. So culturally, it really surprised me how like capitalistic they are and how, I mean, that doesn't really have to do with like the communism thing, but like this kind of like special hybrid system that they have where they're like, everything is like new tall buildings. Like next week, there's like another skyscraper and next week, this one is torn down, you know, like this restaurant was here and now it's gone. Too bad, you know? Yeah, I think the like how fast paced it is and how like if you really want to experience the like more traditional, like philosophical, like the tea drinking culture or the like visiting temples that aren't just like kind of tourist spots. You have to go like farther out of the more populated areas. That was surprising.
How big it is. I'm from a small country. Obviously, while you're there, if you never left the country, you don't realize how small it is. However, when you come to like a country like China, then you realize like, oh my God, that thing is tiny. Like I remember even now, I talk to my brothers, right? I told them that I take the bus for like 40 minutes or an hour to go to work, and they're always surprised. And to them, it's something like foreigner, like alien. Because back home, if you take the bus for like 10 minutes, it feels like a long time because it's such a small country. And my island is like tiny.
Oh, security, man. That's I know 92 countries, and even today, it's hard for me to believe that you can be in such a safe place in the world.
I guess what surprised me the most was how developed it is. Like everything is so like high tech and clean, and the urbanization of China is amazing. The buildings with lights and everything like high tech, you know, like paying using your phone, all this kind of technology that we would see like in sci-fi movies and so on. Now here's a reality. And I thought that was, you know, a shock. I had read about it, I had watched videos about it, but I didn't really think that it would be as it is. It was, you know, a big shock for me, and actually a very delightful surprise. I really enjoyed it.
How informal things in many ways are, like how dealings with businesses are. Another one that kind of surprised me the most is how much we brought our daughter with us. She's 2 years old, and how much of a sensation she kind of is. How everywhere we go, we get stopped, and how many people take pictures of her. Me and my wife, we don't attract the attention as much as she does, and everybody just stops us and talks about the baby. And we haven't seen that reaction before, not in Mexico, not in the United States, not in the UK, not in Scotland, not anywhere else. That was really surprising.
Okay, so let's go to city by city. The first one, of course, is Beijing.
wake up to this noise. Oh my gosh! Hey there, Elise Lightyear here, and welcome back to my channel. This weekend, I'm gonna be vlogging everything so you guys can get a real in-depth look of what my weekend is really like here in Beijing. Oh, she's putting a cat in the basket of her bike. Bye-bye, kitty. Bye-bye.
辣的要不要？
Weila. It's called jianbing, also known as a Chinese egg pancake. Egg, spring onions, a kind of crunchy tostada, if you will. Look at the smoke coming off that baby. This is a very traditional Chinese breakfast food. You can eat it any time of the day, but it's like perfect for a really good hearty breakfast. It's got a great crunch. The onion flavor is strong. The eggs, the sauces all together, it melts in your mouth. It's delicious. It's one of my favorite foods ever in China. It's a great Saturday morning here in Beijing. I don't have anything to do. The pollution is low. The skies are blue. So I'm just gonna go have a nice, normal China day. I was riding down this road behind me, and I looked up and I said, is that someone in a bathing suit? I hopped off of my bike to film this. I have stumbled upon some type of river swim club. It is about 30 degrees Fahrenheit. It's windy. Wow. Oh my gosh, it is way too cold for that. And that water, I'm sure, is nasty, polluted, dirty. There is never a dull moment here in Beijing, China. I am forever amused and always laughing. I mean, how great is this? Hutongs are traditional Beijing-style homes and shops that were laid out hundreds of years ago during the Ming and Qing dynasties. Here in the Hutongs, you can get a peek at more traditional culture, and it's a great way to get in touch with the daily life of Beijingers. We got some birds on the bottom and some dried cabbage and bean sprouts on the top. It has a sister right across the courtyard known as the Bell Tower. Today is like the first nice day of spring that we've had, and everybody and their grandparents is out. Yeah. I'll be there in 10 minutes. I'm just walking now. So I am in a nearby neighborhood on my way to meet my homegirl Lauren to get some authentic Xinjiang food. I trust Lauren's judgment. She is a complete foodie, so she be coming with the recommendations. Hopefully she doesn't steer me wrong on this one. And since I am a vegetarian in recovery, meaning I have been a vegetarian for the 2 years I've been here, and I am about a week away from my Chinaversary. So for my 3rd year, I decided to treat myself and eat meat. Okay, looks like I found the place. There's Lauren. Lauren, why are they always wrapped in plastic?
Because they sterilize them in boxes before, like they send them off to a company that does it. But when I lived in the south of China, they didn't trust it, so they would always give you hot water or hot tea, and you had to like rinse your body and your chopsticks even after they were wrapped in plastic. Because no one trusts anything in China.
Plastic wrapped dishes are not anything COVID related. This is pure Chinese culture, my friends. This is how they do it. Oh my gosh, we ordered so much food. So much food. So this is big plate chicken, which is literally a big plate of chicken and potatoes and noodles. We
We have no clue what this is. This is a mystery dish. Maybe it's chicken, maybe it's fish, maybe it's intestines. We don't know. Getting ready to try the mystery meat. It's beef? Why? I haven't even gotten through the first layer. I mean, it's okay. It's just chewy. I literally.
Yeah, I think you're going on the wrong end. Try another corner.
The seasoning tastes good though.
It does. It's just. No, you got weird. I don't know what happened.
I'm so unappetized after all of that work that I just did, but literally got no meat. I don't know if this is the food for us. Oh, you got it. You got it. Okay, I guess it is beef. Or maybe it's pork? Oh, yeah, it's halal. Yeah, it's not pork.
I also didn't watch any of Drag Race. I didn't catch up on it.
I haven't either.
When I first started out, I used chopsticks. I used to be hand cramps all the time. Jesus, man, I'm jealous of it.
Can't take me nowhere. And look at the food all my teeth. Crowded restaurant like this, and they have a live cricket in a jar. $2.49 is the damage.
The Tina Burner.
Thank you. Ooh. Cheers. RuPaul's Drag Race, Star Show, and you don't know the song.
Okay,
Okay.
Okay, next city, Shanghai.
Hey guys, can you guess where I'm taking you today? Let's go to Shanghai. Been holding my breath. So guys, definitely one of the things that I find very striking about Shanghai is just its very metropolitan and fashionable, elegant feel. This is my friend Jane. This is her store.
Hello, everyone.
And you're from Beijing?
Yes, I'm from Beijing, but living in Shanghai right now. It's a very, very busy, grand city.
Yeah, it's very beautiful, very elegant.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And lots of old architectures and also old trees.
Jane has picked out some outfits for me to try on. And yeah, let's see what you picked out. Okay, I think that I found the dress. Let's go. To the Pudong area of Shanghai. This area was, up until very recently, one of the poorest areas of Shanghai, and it was the site of just a lot of slums, and it was actually where the gang lords lived, and then a revival started of this area, and now it is home to some of the highest skyscrapers in the world, so definitely quite the turnaround. Trying to find how to get
going to give you a little bit of taste of a few cities. So rather than seeing the whole movie, we'll move on to the next one. This is Guangzhou, which is the capital of Guangdong province.
Hey guys, how are you? In this video, we're going to talk about the Chinese city of Guangzhou. Guangzhou, which is also known as Canton, is the capital and the most populous city in the province of Guangdong in southern China. How did I get here? I took a fast train from Hong Kong, and an hour later, I was in Guangzhou. The contrast between the two places was obvious. I had no local cash, and they did not accept Visa or MasterCard, so my first challenge was to find an exchange place. Locals use WeChat payment systems and UnionPay. WeChat is a messenger, and you can install it on your phone, of course, but unless you have a Chinese bank account, you won't be able to use it for payments. To make matters even more complicated, most people did not speak English, even at the train terminal. Guangzhou has a history of over 2,200 years, and it has been a springboard for trading, cultural exchanges, many revolutions and reforms. It's located on the Pearl River, about 120 kilometers northwest of Hong Kong and 145 kilometers north of Macau. It's at the heart of one of the largest urban agglomerations on planet Earth, the Pearl River Delta Economic Zone. 50 million people. In 2018, the population of the city was 14.9 million. Guangzhou is best known for its annual Canton Fair, the oldest and largest trade fair in China. It's held every year in April and October. Guangzhou is the main manufacturing hub of the Pearl River Delta. In 2017, the GDP reached $318 billion. This is similar to that of Miami, Singapore, and Toronto. If you want to import something from China, this is probably the place to start. I visited a couple of those wholesale malls, and I was impressed. Sure, you can get low-quality, cheap stuff. That's what most of us think about when we see Made in China sign. But they also have a good choice of nice, unique goods like these lamps. But prices wouldn't be so low in this case. Look at all these toys. All of them will end up in your countries eventually, but you can get them here for a fraction of the price.
So it looks like it's gravitating. It's actually on a magnet. It's really impressive. The Earth is shaking, guys. What's going on? Just glimpse of your story.
Guangzhou is considered one of the most prosperous cities in China. At the same time, owing to rapid industrialization, it's considered to be one of the most polluted cities.
We're in some central park. You see a lot of skyscraper and a beautiful river. It's actually pretty peaceful. It's not like chaotic, like people just running around. There's a lot of people riding bikes, which is good. But like they say, there's a lot of pollution, and one of those skyscrapers in the distance you can hardly see because of the smog. Well, it's one of the most industrial cities on Earth, so no surprise.
But the city goes to great lengths to make it greener. You see lots and lots of bicycles and electric scooters everywhere. In 2006, Guangzhou had the largest number of LPG fuel vehicles in the world. Also that same year, the municipal government banned motorcycles. It's one of the most livable cities in China, and it has a great climate. A humid subtropical climate influenced by the East Asian monsoon. Summers are wet with high temperatures and high humidity, and winters are mild and comparatively dry.
So I had no expectations, no idea what Guangzhou would look like. And maybe it's just a central park, but it looks really beautiful and livable. I mean, beautiful parks, not too many cars, not at all. A lot of people are riding bikes. We'll get to see more, and we'll get the more comprehensive idea of what Guangzhou is really like. Let's do it.
A major reason to visit the city is the cuisine. Guangzhou has the country's largest number of restaurants per capita. Here you can try the authentic taste of sweet and sour pork, wonton soup, and dim sum.
Sometimes ordering food is just like guesswork. how do you know what's inside? You know, maybe fish, maybe chicken, maybe it's spicy, maybe it's not. So I ordered this one, and this is what I got. The portions are huge, you know. So when you order something in China, just remember that it might come out a lot bigger than you expected. So I ordered a spicy fish soup, and this is what it came out to be. Like, it's good for 4 people, not just me, you know.
Most Chinese food served in Western countries is actually Cantonese food. Cantonese people would eat absolutely anything: liver, kidneys, heart, brain, you name it. There's a joke that Cantonese people eat anything that has 4 legs other than a table, anything that flies other than an airplane, and anything that swims other than a submarine. So they have a very broad definition of what is considered edible. Almost all of the local people speak Cantonese as their first language, while most migrants speak Mandarin.
Oh. Ni hao. What's your name?
Hello.
Hello, what's your name?你叫什么名字?
Guangzhou has now a huge influx of migrants from other areas of China. Interestingly, marriage is one of the top 2 reasons for permanent migration. There's also a rapidly increasing number of foreign temporary workers and immigrants from Southeast Asia, the Middle East, Eastern Europe, and Africa. Did you know that Guangzhou is home to the largest African community in Asia? Migrants from Africa started arriving in Guangzhou in the late 1990s. Buying in bulk allowed many Africans to strike it rich back home. Many, though, decided to stay here longer, legally or illegally, until the government decided to put an end to that. They started frequent police raids, and 2011 Guangdong Act, which offered Chinese citizens rewards for reporting on foreigners with expired or forged documentation. As they say, China gives, China takes. Guangzhou was the 4th city in mainland China to have an underground railway system. Currently, the metro network is made up of 13 lines covering a total length of 476 kilometers. A long-term plan is to make the city's metro system expand to over 500 kilometers by 2020, with a total of 15 lines in operation. In addition to the metro system, there is also a tram line, which opened in 2014. While Guangzhou is not the first choice when it comes to vacation destinations, the city still has a lot of things to offer. If you want to explore the city, you might want to start with CBD, which stands for Central Business District. Here you'll find a lot of skyscrapers and plenty of food options. Guangzhou Opera House and Guangzhou Library. Huaqian Square, or Flower City Square, is the largest square in the city. Especially in the evening, the view of the Canton Tower, with all the lights decoration, is remarkable. Central Business District looks super modern, and they had a light show that night. You might want to visit Shamian Island. The name of the island literally means sandy surface in Chinese. This territory was divided into 2 concessions given to France and the United Kingdom by the Qing government in the 19th century. This island is a reminder of the colonial European period, with quiet pedestrian avenues flanked by trees and lined by historical buildings. Let's take a walk. There's a lot of socialist propaganda banners and slogans everywhere.
Do you guys want to know the core socialist values? Well, here they are for you.
They're rocking the red flags. And as someone growing up in Soviet Russia, this looked way too familiar. In 2019, they were celebrating 70 years of the People's Republic of China. Today, it's a strange combination of capitalism and communism. Starbucks is here, Walmart is here, Coca-Cola is here. And as long as you're not a threat to CCP rhetoric and agenda, you're okay to do business in China. But Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube are not okay. Look, this is a little bit of capitalism for you. And this is a little bit of communism. You see these security guards on the streets with red ribbons on their arms everywhere. They're there to ensure public safety and order. Needless to say, there's millions of security cameras everywhere. Most people live in high-rise apartment buildings. Strangely enough, some of them have bars even on their balconies for some reason. Together with Shanghai, Beijing, and Shenzhen, Guangzhou has one of the most expensive real estate markets in China. There's a stereotype about the Chinese that they smoke a lot. Well, my impression is that most stereotypes are true, and so is this one. I only had 2 days in the city, so there was no way that I would be able to visit everything. But hopefully this is enough to give you an impression of this huge Chinese city. Well, I hope you guys enjoyed the video and let me know what you think about Guangzhou.
Okay, the next city is closer to Hong Kong, is Shenzhen.
Shenzhen is an incredible city to live in. I've been here for 5 years now. It's very green. You basically have trees everywhere. A lot of parks and greenery in the avenues and parks and streets. It's also super modern. It feels like you're living in the future. City is also very convenient to live in. But of course, like every big metropolis in the world, it could get a little bit noisy sometimes. One of the main issues I have while living here was the language barrier, because here nobody speaks English. So everywhere I was going, I was just using my translator on my phone, trying to communicate with people. Eventually, I kind of started learning some Mandarin, but it was kind of frustrating because Chinese definitely is not easy. I thought I knew how to say something, and then they couldn't get anything. And at the same time, I was not understanding anything of what they were saying. It was kind of a tough process. Right now, I don't really speak Mandarin fluently, but I kind of manage basic Chinese. I can communicate on a daily basis. Despite all these issues I had with the language, I have to say Chinese people are very friendly people. When you are living here as a foreigner, they're always nice to you. At least that was my experience, and that for me made the difference to choose between staying or leaving.
Located in southern China, Shenzhen has a population of almost 14 million people. It's home of some of the biggest tech players in the world, like Huawei, Tencent, DJI, and OnePlus. There are some pretty impressive facts about Shenzhen. It has the highest GDP per capita in China, and according to Forbes, in 2020, Shenzhen is the 7th city with the most billionaires living in, surpassing cities like San Francisco, Mumbai, and Singapore. A total of 44 super rich people live here, with a whopping net worth of more than $220 billion. I wonder if I ever cross paths with any of them. Shenzhen is a very well-connected city. It's just 15 minutes away from Hong Kong by high-speed rail. It is also just 1 hour from Macau by ferry and 40 minutes by train from Guangzhou. So living here feels like you're close to everywhere. Being the 7th largest in China and the 12th in the world, Shenzhen Metro is clean, efficient, and cheap. A regular ride costs the equivalent to less than $1. This metropolis is the world's pioneer in electric vehicles. It has a real commitment to become a green city. Shenzhen's bus fleet has been all electric since 2017. And in the present time, Shenzhen has more than 16,000 units in service, being the city with the largest electric fleet in the world. The taxi fleet also reached 99% of electric vehicles. All these units count with about 20,000 public charging stations all around the city. Despite all the achievements the city has accomplished, Shenzhen is still somehow under construction, with many more skyscrapers, highways, tunnels, bridges, subway lines, and parks under construction.
Okay, moving on, Hong Kong, where I come from.
Hong Kong, officially the Hong Kong Special Administrative Region of the People's Republic of China, is a metropolitan area on the eastern Pearl River Delta of the South China Sea. The name translates as Fragrant Harbour or Incense Harbour. The simplified name Hong Kong was frequently used by 1810. The name was also commonly written as the single word Hong Kong until 1926, when the government officially adopted the two-word name as we know it today. Hey guys, and welcome back to the Geography Bible. How's it going? In this video, we'll give you 10 reasons why you must visit Hong Kong at some point in your life. Hong Kong truly is a unique place, an urban concrete jungle where east meets west, a financial hub where some of the richest and most successful go to spend their money and live a lavish lifestyle. For many people, including myself, Hong Kong is a dream destination where you have to visit at least once in your life. So in no particular order, let's kick this video off with number 10, its incredible skyline. With 482, Hong Kong has by far the most skyscrapers in the world. Its neighbor, Shenzhen, sits in second place with 297, and then New York City with 290. Hong Kong has one of the best skylines on Earth and arguably one of the most recognizable. Its International Commerce Center is the 12th tallest building on Earth. At night, the city skyline truly comes to life. This urban concrete jungle is mesmerizing. Victoria Peak is an absolute must if you want to see the skyline from one of its best vantage points. Number 9, its cuisine. Renowned as the culinary capital of Asia, Hong Kong is a world of exquisite, mouth-watering international dining options. The local dim sum and fresh seafood should definitely be sampled. Hong Kong's local food is all well prepared using fresh, tasty ingredients and has a pleasing appearance and light flavor. Compared with the food in some other places in China and across Asia, which may have a strong taste of strange ingredients, Hong Kong's food is more palatable and worth a try. Apart from trying out the local food, you can also enjoy a full range of authentic cuisines from around the world, such as Japan, Korea, Asia, Thailand, and even Africa. There are also Western restaurants. If you wish, you can eat just like you do back at home. Number 8, it's multiculturalism and culture. Hong Kong is regarded as a place where East meets West, and where the old and the new live side by side. Its incest-filled temples, colonial buildings, and glass and steel skyscrapers, along with its ancient traditions and lively festivals, have made Hong Kong a living cultural experience. Number 7, it's surprisingly easy to get to. Even though Hong Kong, as the crow flies, is a very long distance away from anyone outside of Asia, it's surprisingly easy to reach. Hong Kong International Airport has direct flights connecting many major cities of the world, such as London, New York, Los Angeles, Toronto, Vancouver, Melbourne, Sydney, Tokyo, and Seoul. Number 6, it's a gateway to the rest of China or Asia. Hong Kong's location makes it the main gateway to China as well as the rest of East Asia. Its international air service is excellent, and competition keeps the fares relatively low compared to neighboring countries. Shenzhen, which is the Silicon Valley of the East and one of China's most booming cities, is literally a 45-minute train ride. Other popular destinations such as Thailand, Vietnam, Singapore, and Malaysia are all also within a couple or a few hours reach by plane. Number 5, low crime rates. In summary, the reasons for Hong Kong's low crime rate are a complicated mixture of factors that include a wealthy, pro-social population, active anti-corruption strategies, strong family-orientated values, a large professional police force, very strict gun laws, effective suppression of cross-border crime, and high levels of formal and informal surveillance. If someone is caught committing a crime, they will be severely punished and convicted. Whether you agree or not with their super strict enforcements, you will be very safe as a tourist, you can guarantee that, especially when compared to other densely populated Asian cities. Number 4, it's nightlife. Hong Kong certainly knows how to put on a party and caters to all tastes. Drinking venues range from British-style pubs and karaoke joints through to upmarket and very expensive cocktail bars. Synonymous with partying, the bustling streets of Lan Kwai Fong are home to hundreds of bars and restaurants, and just a short walk away is the more sophisticated area of Soho, which has something to suit all. Wan Chai offers live music, bars, fantastic restaurants, and there are still some hostess bars. If you head over to Kowloon side, you can have a fantastic view of the city's neon skyline whilst enjoying a cocktail or two. And if you don't drink alcohol, feel free to have an awesome coffee. Oh boy, the things that I would do to be in Hong Kong, looking at that skyline with a nice cocktail right now. Number 3, the efficiency of the transport. The transport system is modern, clean, and most importantly, very reliable and efficient. There is a variety of choices to get you from A to B, and for a fraction of the price as it would cost you anywhere else. These include taxis, the tube/subway, trams, and buses too. Hong Kong's transport system is very efficient, making it extremely convenient to get around. Number 2, the shopping and markets. Famed as a shopper's paradise, Hong Kong offers a unique shopping experience. From trendy boutiques to traditional stores with Chinese products. From luxurious shopping malls to bustling street markets, you can find everything from the latest designer fashions and electronic products to the best value collectibles and antiques. Trendsetters from all across the globe find Hong Kong to be Asia's best place for buying fashionable clothes, electronic goods, watches, and cosmetics. In some duty-free stores and during the sale season, some goods are sold at prices cheaper than can be found anywhere else in the world, and can even be bought for cheaper than they were produced for. Number 1, the festivals. There are many festivals throughout the year, and whenever you visit Hong Kong, you may have a good chance to experience one of its unique festival cultures. Hong Kong is one of the best places for celebrating Christmas and New Year's Eve. During Christmas, streets and buildings have special festival decorations. There are also countdown events and huge firework performances on New Year's Eve around Victoria Harbour. If you can, take the opportunity to experience Chinese festivals in Hong Kong, like Spring Festival, Dragon Boat Festival, and Mid-Autumn Festival. We told you Hong Kong was crazy about festivals. Enjoy the lively celebrations and special festival cuisine. And finally, as a bonus reason, although not my cup of tea, I know that many people live for this, it also has a Disneyland. So have you ever been to Hong Kong before? If so, let us know in the comment section below what it was like. If you haven't been before, are you planning to go? Again, let us know. Thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed this video.
Okay, so now we are going.
So are you homesick now, Albert?
Sorry?
Homesick? Make you homesick?
Yes, a little bit.
Yeah.
I would love to go back to Hong Kong, but our government doesn't allow us to go yet. Hopefully one day. Okay, Nanjing. Nanjing, the name translates to the South capital. So we have Beijing, which is the North capital, Nanjing, which is the South capital. So it was an old capital. So let's have a look.
Hi everyone, today I want to show you guys what a day in my life is like as a master's student living in China. So first thing is come down to this little shopping center and find a bike and bike to the metro station. These bikes down here are all public rental bikes, so they don't belong to any particular person. As long as you have a membership, you can pick up the bike and ride it to wherever you're going and then leave it there. I would waste a ton of time walking if not for these bikes. In the US, it's super common for students to live off campus, and it's basically unheard of for a graduate student to live in a dorm. But in China, almost everyone lives in the dorms. So people here are always asking me, don't I think it's inconvenient to have to take the metro every morning to and from school? I just really like being able to get away from the university every night and every morning and kind of feel like I'm a part of the rest of society, because being in the school can be a little bit isolating sometimes, especially since my campus is located way on the outskirts of Nanjing. I just really like having my own room and my own space without a roommate leaving dirty, moldy dishes everywhere or all the other stupid stuff I've dealt with in years of having roommates in a dorm. So here's the bike drop-off area. So you can see actually most people take these public bikes. There are very few personal bikes. And you can just get onto the metro by swiping a QR code on your phone. So don't have to have a ticket or a card or anything. Basically, ever since the pandemic began, they've had a rule here that you have to wear a mask on public transport. It's been like this for over a year, so everyone's just used to it. Anytime you go on the metro, you have to wear a mask. Same with trains and other public transport. I like taking this metro because it's above ground the entire time, so I get to watch the scenery on the way to school. Some metro cars are just plain on the inside, but other ones are like this. They've been completely like overtaken by some government bureau or a company doing advertisements or something. So there's all this cute, interesting imagery inside. So now I'm on the way to the university gate where I have to show them my QR code that proves that I am a student and not some random person coming in. My school is not open to the outside right now. You have to have the QR code or you have to have a valid student card that you can swipe. Only then are you allowed in the gate. Even before the pandemic, the university wasn't fully open to the public. It's surrounded by fences on all sides, and there's only 3 gates you can get in from. This is super different from the university I attended in the US, which was open on all sides, and anyone from the local community could come into the campus. Now I'm on my way to breakfast. Let's take a look at some scenery. Look at all of these bicycles. So here's one of our dining halls, and these red curtain things on the door are to help keep the heat inside because Nanjing has a very cold winter and it is just now ending. Just patrolling around for what decent breakfast item there is. Can't have your hopes too high. It is a university dining hall after all. So this morning I'm gonna have something called tofu nao, which means tofu brains. It's really just this very soft tofu that they put all these different seasonings in. Despite the weird name and the weird appearance, it's really delicious. And this has purple sticky rice on the outside and fried dough and pickled vegetables on the inside. So now I'm gonna show you guys my lab in the School of the Environment. On the way, check out some nice scenery out the window. I'm a master's student in environmental engineering, and the research that I'm doing is about industrial wastewater treatment, specifically electroplating wastewater.
So all these tiny little beads here, there's something called a resin. With different kinds of resins, there's different groups of chemical compounds on the surface of the beads, and they all do different things or capture different pollutants from the water. So my research is focused on heavy metals, and I use these little beads to capture the heavy metals from the wastewater. Once the metals are captured on the surface of the little beads, they can be recovered and reused in the industry as opposed to just being dumped into the environment as part of wastewater. So now I'm on my way to class. This class is about a concept called ecological civilization, which is not a phrase that's really ever used in the US, but it's very common in China. It's basically a concept of human civilization and nature coexisting and thriving together. So now I'm done with my morning class and I'm on my way to go off campus for lunch with a few friends. This is one of my favorite restaurants. It's a dish called guoqiao mixian, which translates literally to crossing the bridge rice noodles. They bring you a bowl of broth and all of the ingredients on little plates, and you throw everything in and it cooks right on the spot. So now I'm heading back to the School of the Environment because we have a lab meeting this afternoon. Now that my meeting's over, I'm gonna go out for a walk. I love hearing the sounds of the birds. It sounds like a really trivial thing, but every day, if you can hear the sounds of the birds when you're going to work, coming back, or on like an afternoon walk, it just makes your whole day a lot better. I love birds. There are tons of stray cats in my neighborhood and also in my university. There's so many plants and shrubs and bamboo and places for the cats to hide, and also so many people who give them free food that being a stray cat here really doesn't sound so bad. Although the location of this university really isn't ideal, it's quite far from the center of the city, it is nice that there's so much space with so many gardens and trees and places to walk and run. So I'm done with my walk and now I'm heading to dinner. It's almost April and this dining hall still has not taken down the Christmas decorations. This is my favorite dining hall in the whole school because the food here is honestly pretty good. Like for a dining hall, this is good food. This is chicken and vegetables with udon noodles. So this is my office where I spend most of my time on most days. I'm pretty much just writing my thesis all the time. A lot of people ask what language my thesis is in. It's in Chinese. It looks like there's a lot written here, but actually there's still so much work left to do. I have to go back and reanalyze things and re-summarize things and just keep updating it and fixing it and improving it. So it's just a really long process. So now I'm on my way to the gym. I'm gonna go running and swimming. It's pretty late already, so there's basically no one left on the metro. I like to run outside a lot too, but sometimes it's nice to just have people around while you're exercising. Otherwise it gets kind of lonely. If you've seen my crossing the Yangtze River video, you know I like swimming and I do not have any kind of standardized stroke, but whatever, it's just exercise. It's not a competition. Here's the food street that is right by the metro station near my neighborhood, and I come here for dinner quite often. There's tons of options here. I'd like to do a separate video someday of just like a neighborhood tour where I can properly show you guys around the beautiful gardens in my neighborhood and the park and all of these restaurants. There's a lot of really fun, interesting stuff here. But you may have noticed that this isn't actually the same road that I came on this morning. There's two roads to get to my apartment from the metro station. And in the morning, this road is really clogged with traffic, so I stay away from it. But at night, it's nice to come by here and just see all the shops lit up and see people out and everything. So it's nice to come out here and just be reminded of how vibrant and bustling the city life is. It's quite late at night now. I've just gotten back home. And thank you all for joining me on this little adventure. I hope you found it interesting to experience life as
an international student in China, and I look forward to sharing more adventures with you all soon. Goodbye.
Okay, the next city is a very mountainous city, Chongqing.
Before I came to Chongqing, I asked my Chinese friends what to do in the city. They all replied, hot pot, the skyline, hotels. But they failed to mention one key detail. There are so many steps. But thankfully, after 24 hours of stumbling around like a fool, I started to notice some more convenient ways to get around. I can't believe we're getting a cable car in the city. This is pretty cool. Look, it goes up the side of the mountain. Oh my god, is that a monorail? Are we gonna go in the air? It goes through the building. I can't believe I'm taking a ferry to get across the river in Chongqing. How cool is that? Hi, I'm Nico and welcome back to my channel. I'm in the city of Chongqing right now, which is very, very different to my adopted hometown of Beijing. When I was traveling into the city by train, I was immediately struck by its mountainous terrain. As we got closer, I noticed insane roller coaster-like metro lines and flyovers that looked like Hot Wheel tracks, and my excitement started to build. I spent the first day exploring by foot, which was great at first, even if we did get a bit lost. Around every corner, there was something to see, but my favorite place was the stone steps that wind up the hillsides, connecting different levels of the city. But after an hour or two of walking around, I was knackered. If I was in Beijing, then I would have just jumped on a shared bike, but I didn't see any, or any scooters on the road for that matter. I guess it's simply just too hilly. But luckily, with the help of my guide, I found a solution. If you do want to avoid the stairs, then this is the Kaishuanlu elevator. You know how I feel about elevators in natural environments? Well, this is in a city, and it's purely practical. It joins the lower city to the upper city, and it only costs 1 yuan. That's not the only way to get between the two levels of Chongqing. Throughout the city, they built outdoor escalators that snake up and down the mountainside to make life more convenient for local residents. As someone who doesn't like taking the stairs, I'm appreciating the chance to save some energy for the next stop on our infrastructure tour, which is something that I've been dreaming about for years. Whoa, what a cool view. I can't believe you can see outside. Oh, it feels like we're going over the river. So cool. It's like we're actually riding like a roller coaster. Theme parks can be pretty expensive, but for just a few yuan, you can spend a couple of hours cruising around on Metro Line 2, which feels like a never-ending roller coaster. In most cities, the metro is just a functional way of getting around. And whilst the city planners have fulfilled this need in the mountainous terrain, this feels more like a sightseeing tour than a commuter train. It goes over rivers, under bridges, and this station, Elizabeth, the metro actually goes through the building. Every corner of the city is interesting, and we've often found ourselves taking one too many B-roll shots and running a little bit behind schedule. Our solution is always to take one of Chongqing's New York-style yellow taxis. Of course, you're not getting anywhere in a hurry in Chongqing because there isn't a straight road in sight. But I'm pretty impressed by our taxi driver's skills as he navigates the tangled up network of roads that crisscross the mountain. The city is not merely defined by its mountains, but also by its rivers. The Gargantuan Yangtze and Jialing rivers both flow through the city and actually meet just behind me. As we witnessed during our metro ride, the city planners of Chongqing have really embraced its geographical features. And there are multiple bridges and metro lines that go from one side to the other. But there's also a more novel way to get across. This is the Kangjiang Cableway, which offers amazing views of Chongqing's skyline, as well as a practical way to hop across the river. As you can see by the amount of people who are crammed on here like sardines, it's not just for tourists. The cable car was awesome and whisked us across the river in no time at all. But for those locals who want a more slower, relaxing way to cross the river, then the default choice is taking the ferry across. Or at least it was. At one time, hundreds of thousands of people would cross the river by ferry every single day. But in the last 4 decades, a whopping 29 bridges have been constructed, leading to the gradual decline of the ferry lines as part of the public transport system. These days, only a few of the original passenger ships are still in service, but thankfully many of the original vessels have been given a new lease of life thanks to Chongqing's booming tourism trade. From the water, you can take in the best of Chongqing, the lights, the scenery, even the local life. I felt compelled to make this video because in most cities, public transport is just an efficient way to get from A to B. Whereas here in Chongqing, the journey around the city is just as enjoyable as any of the destinations themselves. I hope you enjoyed seeing how...
Okay, this is the final video talking about 5 years expat lives.
Miraj.
Hello, my friend.
How are you?
Yeah, fine, good.
Hello and welcome to the Edges of Earth. My name is Brock. Today I'm with Miraj.
Yeah, hello.
It's been a long time since he's been on this channel. Basically, I'm in Shenzhen and he sent me a message saying, hey, I'm also in this area. He comes here frequently for business. And if you've watched a lot of the Indian series, you would have seen him. You showed me around Baroda, correct?
Yes, yes.
Baroda. He's from Baroda, Gujarat.
We meet after 1 year. Last time you come to Baroda is like August 2018.
Yeah, it's been
and
about
it's like
1 year.
August 2019, we again meet in China.
This is true. It's been like a year. I don't know. It doesn't seem like a year. So this is cool. So basically, today will be fun. Just kind of a little side video from the norm. He is inviting me to his apartment. And you said you're going to cook some type of Indian lunch.
Yes, I'm going to cook Indian like curry and rice.
Okay, cool. Indian curry and rice. Sounds good. I haven't had it in a long time. So we arrived to the kitchen and Miraj is starting to cook. So what do you have here? What is this?
Like, first of all, we are cooking like dal. Like dal fry is like Punjabi style, like dal fry. And after we are cooking to like rice. Yeah, like Indian jeera rice. So we have like dal fry and jeera rice. And later we will have like Indian milk tea.
So basically these, if you're not familiar, these are lentils. And that is, once you cook them and put spices and stuff in it, it's called dal.
Yes. Every time I come, my bag is almost empty, you know. I have like extra 15-20 kg weight. So I bring like lots of things like tea, and maybe you know this is like henna. The henna, you know, like the painting.
Oh, yeah.
So here like some girls, they like, you know, this henna. So I always bring like so many like food and like masala, spice, and gifts for my friends.
So you just are heating a pot with, what is it, oil inside?
Yeah, it's olive oil.
Olive oil, you put some turmeric powder in it.
Yeah.
And what else? What else are you going to add?
Yeah.
It's really hot oil. Why are you dumping everything out? It's smoking in the house. That's it. Oh my God, smoke is everywhere. The fire department is going to come. Round 2.
This is like masala for curry. They have like chili and other spice.
Yeah. Should it be a hot one?
No, it's not spicy.
Okay, yes, you remember my weakness, right?
Yeah.
We're going to add onions, tomatoes, and what? Garlic. All chopped by who flew in from Turkey just to chop onions and tomatoes for us today. Yeah. The best onion chopper in China.
Because if I put tomato now, tomato will be very small. You know, all waters will be so it's in later.
What are you adding now? Salt.
I don't know how much I need to add salt because I need to cook jeera rice in that vessel, but it's already occupied. So
Is it different rice?
no, it's like rice from India, but how to say? It's not jeera rice. It's just simple rice with curry.
When you guys washing the rice?
Yeah.
Dancing. The water is dancing.
Yeah, almost ready.
This fan is working really hard, so I can't even smell this right now. It's taking all of the smell away. All right, so basically everything is done, and we have rice, and the finished product is, this is just dal? Is this
Dal. Yeah, dal fry.
And you have a beer. What is this? I haven't had this before.
Yeah, it's super X. Makes you super mess.
You like beer?
I love it.
Yeah?
No, I'm kidding.
Oh.
I only drink healthy things.
Right. Yeah, generally me too, but
No.
sometimes.
Just juice and milk.
Yeah,
Juice and milk.
Actually, no, I stopped drinking juice because so much sugar.
Yeah. Juice is terrible.
Even handmade, you know?
Oh, totally. Yeah,
It's
it's just
full of
pure
sugar.
Yeah,
I don't
because
want
you
to.
remove the fiber, which is the pulp. the
Yes,
pulp and
I
fiber.
just eat fruit now.
Yeah,
Just
that's
eating
better.
fruit, that's amazing.
Wait, how do you say cheers in Hindi?
Cheers.
Just cheers? Okay, how do you say cheers in Turkish? Şerefe. Şerefe. And in China, it's Kambe. Kambe. Oh, that is good. It's good for you. What do you think?
It's good. Yesterday I drank a different one.
Yeah. I've learned stay away from Blue Girl. The Blue Girl beer. I told him it's just terrible. It tastes like cardboard. Cardboard. Yeah, Blue Girl tastes like cardboard. So why are you eating with your fingers like everyone else?
No, in India I also eat with my spoon. Yeah, but yeah, I know like.
You like it? I'm excited. I'm excited. I haven't had Indian food in a while. It's good. It's not too spicy. You did good. Yeah. Yeah, this is amazing. It's like it's not too spicy. I was concerned that it was going to be too spicy because he said the word chili, which is like a scary word. It's just amazing. It's so good. Yep, I feel like I'm back in India.
Last night around 1 or 2 o'clock, I was really hungry. I opened this packet and I eat.
So what is this? Yeah, I tried to bite it twice and my teeth couldn't go through it. What is it?
Inside, so many nuts
Yeah.
and cinnamon.
Yeah. Oh, so it's sweet. It's like a dessert.
It's not like dessert, but now we don't have so.
It's like
Yeah.
maybe snack.
Yeah, snack. It's the Indian snack. You've been to Jamnagar, Dwarka.
Dwarka, huh?
So it's originally from that place.
Okay, I
So
did not
in
eat
India,
this.
all over India, you cannot find this. Only you can
Ah.
find in Dwarka.
In Gujarati. So we have a Gujarati thing.
Be careful with your teeth.
I know.
Not that behind.
Wow, it's unique. That's so good. This is like the equivalent is a very hard and dried out fig, like a fig Newton. Yeah, it's very, almost identical to eating a dried out fig. And it's kind of spicy. My mouth is warm.
Yeah,
It's like a spicy fig Newton. So is this straight from India also?
Kit Kat? No.
It's melted.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness.
I don't want Kit Kat.
Kit Kat, you don't want to eat a Kit Kat?
No.
Why not?
It's so sweet.
No, this is not sweet. This is from UK. Yeah, it's not sweet. No, I know this is not sweet.
What? What?
Indian chicken is really sweet.
Really?
Oh, you're hilarious.
No, actually, you know what? I prefer India.
Oh, it's not sweet.
It's not sweet.
It's good meeting you.
Yeah.
Again, thanks
Yeah.
for the invite.
Thank you very much.
Yeah.
Huh?
Tassekullah.
Teşekkürler.
Tassekullah. See you again.
Yes.
Yeah.
I hope so.
Yeah.
I hope so. Maybe it'll be in a different country next time.
Yeah. Sure. Maybe definitely we'll be in different country next time.
Yes.
Yeah.
So cool. That was fun meeting up with Niraj. I just got a random text message from him just a couple of weeks ago, and he says, "Hey, I'm going to come here. Let's meet up." So I'm happy. I'm happy that I got a chance to meet him again, or see him again, visit with him again. Hopefully, again in the future, and you as well. Yeah. So what's interesting about you is you've been here for a long time. How many years?
Yeah, more
5
than
years.
5 years.
And so you actually speak the language here. Yeah. That's amazing. I'm jealous. I just know how to say goodbye, which is 再见.
再见.
Yeah. But that's it.
That's it.
That's all I know. Pretty much.
I think most of the foreigners, this is the only word they know.
Really?
Yeah.
So what is your favorite part about China so far? In 5 years of being here, what is your favorite part about this country?
About
Anything.
In terms of what?
Anything you can think of. Your favorite part about being in China.
I think,
Come off the road. Let's go over here for a minute.
I think Shenzhen is really in China, Shenzhen is my favorite place because it's developing very fast and everything is very convenient. But you can pay everything by WeChat. You don't need to even use any cash. And the people are really nice. They are welcoming the foreigners. It's really safe.
Yeah, I feel that as well.
Safer than maybe any other places in China.
So yeah, safety here is pretty good. I feel I've been here for 2.5 months, and I feel like it is super safe here.
Super safe, yes.
Yeah.
People are
Day,
really
night.
nice.
Yeah, nice.
They are
Helpful.
really welcoming
Totally.
foreigners, especially, and they really respect people.
Yeah, I feel the
Everyone
same.
is foreigner actually at here, include Chinese people.
Oh yeah.
Like
they come from different places, provinces.
Yep.
So everyone they have to respect each other because we all foreign people
Correct.
here. So this is the thing that I like about Shenzhen. So it's really like nice being here and living in Shenzhen. And I think most of the foreigners, they really enjoy living in Shenzhen.
Yeah, it's cool so far. I have
Yes.
nothing against it. Yeah.
Yeah. Everything is very, very convenient.
Yeah, I
You
feel
can,
the same.
as long as you have WeChat Pay or Alipay,
Yeah.
like you don't need any cash in your life.
Yep.
Yes. This is so cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Cashless.
Yes, cashless society.
So basically, that's pretty much it. We are going to the train station. We're going to part ways. It was nice meeting you. Glad to
nice
meet
to
you.
meet you as well.
I hope you enjoyed meeting everyone. And
Okay. Discussion. So please unmute yourself. I have saved more time for discussion this time, but looks like I'm also running out of time.
That was really terrific, Albert. It seems like you need about at least 3 months just to have a rough idea about China, to spend 3 months there or something. I'd love to be able to do that. One of my questions is, the Chinese philosophy is that the government serves the people. It's there to serve the people, not the people serving the government. And if they don't like the government, they remove it. Is that easy to do in China?
No.
No.
The simple answer is no, because China is a one-party
Yeah.
system. So you cannot remove the party without a large civil war.
Yeah.
They lock themselves in, so that you can't remove the government per
Yeah.
se. But the Chinese philosophy is not people against government or government against people. Government and people is like a family.
Yeah.
So we work together.
Yeah.
So the division of power in China is also very much unlike the division of power in our Western democracy.
Yeah.
The government is responsible for planning, executing, and then ensuring that the plans are executed correctly. So the Chinese government very much emphasis on the evaluation part of the project. So we have plans. We talk about, for example, in the first term, the 14th 5-year plan.
Yeah.
So they plan ahead for a very long time, for example, 5 years.
Yeah.
And then they are looking forward to, for example, the second 100 years anniversary, which will be the anniversary of the People's Republic of China.
Yeah.
That will be in 2049. So we are now in 2021, but they are talking about 2049. What they want to achieve by then.
Yes.
So that is long-term planning.
Yeah.
If you have some grievances with the government,
yeah.
there are elaborate channels for people to voice their grievances, and then the government will look into it. So it's not like I don't like this, so I go out to protest. No, you don't do it that way. You don't like it, you go through the proper channel, telling the government why you don't like this policy or not, and then seek compensation from the government to compensate your loss, so to speak. For example, just recently, there was a case about the Tesla, the electric car company. A Chinese customer bought a second-hand Tesla car, and then it crashed. And then during the crash, they recognized that the car frame, the main body, was soldered together. But when they bought it as second-hand, it was explicitly told that the car haven't gone through any serious accident. So that is against the law. So it ruled in the favor of the customer. So the customer has the money back, plus 3 times the price of the car.
Oh.
Awarded to the customer for damages.
Yeah.
And it's written in the law. So
Yeah.
in China, you bought a product, if the product fails to meet its claims, then you can return the product plus 3 times the price.
Right, right.
So there are channels like that. But of course, this case is civil case. But for government, a similar process also have there. So if, for example, if the government want to get the land from you and then want to build a bridge over your head, for example, then you can seek compensation. And the compensation is, at the moment, it's pretty fair. I think most people actually agree with the compensation. There's not much argument. So the government is offering a fair compensation at the moment.
So the general population in China, on the whole, are pretty happy with the way it's governed at the moment.
Yes, the Ash Center from, I think it's the Kennedy School in Harvard, did a long-term study about they call it the sustainability of the Chinese government. So they undergo follow-up of, I think, 35,000 Chinese through, I think it's 8 years, and monitor their opinion towards the government. Before the COVID, the average Chinese approval of the Chinese government is about 95%.
Wow.
About 95% people approve of the Chinese government. But after COVID, it raises to 98%. So out of 100 people, only 2 people say, oh, the government's not doing good.
Yeah.
98 of them is saying they're very happy about what their government has done. Of course, I know a lot of us outside of China would be skeptical. Is the people forced to say, say yes, or kind of thing like that? But you can see from the videos I have shown today, the Chinese people there are pretty happy. They are not stressed. They don't look like being suppressed, put it that way.
So the people, the Chinese people that we see in West that have immigrated to Western countries, why have they done that? Like,
well,
why
just
have
like
they left
me,
China?
I had come to Australia from Hong Kong. Different people have different reasons. Okay, so we cannot now. China represents about 1/5 of the world's population, 1.4 billion people. So let's say 1% of these people like to live in other countries, like me. Okay, so that will be what 140,000.
Yeah,
140 million people.
Yeah,
and then spread 50. Yeah, so there's a lot of people going outside just because some humans have a tendency to like to live in some other countries. I left Hong Kong because of the Tiananmen Square incident. Okay, that is my reason why I left Hong Kong at that time. But looking back, this might be the first color revolution, the Tiananmen Square. So it might be the first color revolution ever launched by foreign powers in the world. So again, at that time, my views are mainly dominated by Western medias. And as that, I'm only receiving one part of the information. I'm not receiving the other part of the information. But now, having retired, do this kind of thing, I started to broaden my views from different news sources, including Chinese sources, including, for example, Al Jazeera, Germany, DW, BBC, etc. I'm broadening my reading, and that changed my perception.
Can the people in China see you know, what happens in the Western countries and say, gee, I would prefer to live like that, or that really doesn't happen?
No, it doesn't happen. It's more the other way around.
Right.
The Chinese people say, oh, we are happy that we are in this Chinese system rather than because one of the things we are starting to see is the infighting between parties within a country.
Yeah, yeah.
And that infighting to the Chinese is a very bad bad attitude. We cannot like to cooperate rather than fight against each other.
Yes.
So when the Chinese people seeing what happens, for example, in American between the 2020 election,
yeah,
the huge infight between the Republicans and the Democrats.
Yeah.
They say, no, that's not the kind of government we want to. We want a government united together, John, help us together. So there's, I think another very vivid example might be the dealing with the 2020 COVID-19.
Mhm.
The Chinese government imposed what we in the West would say very Korean, authoritarian ways of controlling the virus.
Yeah.
They closed down a whole city of more than 11 million people.
Yeah.
But
it worked.
You know, as I just described, after the COVID, the people is even more approval of the government.
Yeah.
Increased from 95 to 98 because they see that, well, China being the first country to experience this unknown disease, come out very well.
Yeah, yeah.
At the moment, the West is still, we are lucky, we are the lucky one in Australia, but you look at India, you look at American, you look at Europe's, they are still suffering from the COVID.
Yeah, sure.
So the Chinese people say, oh yes, that's the way we like our government. Yes, Howard.
Just one comment and then a question. I'd love to see a time-lapse photo of some of those Chinese cities. You know, one photo a year. 100 shots.
I would like to search one of them and then
over 100 years. I think it would be a fascinating to compare how they've developed. I was just interested in the dynamics of how the cities develop. Is there ever such a thing as sort of like a community groups rising up against like a freeway development or knocking down a heritage building to put up a modern skyscraper? Any of that sort of small scale lobbying of government, you know, sort of
there's
the planning stage? Yeah,
about 500 of these every week. Throughout China, there are a lot of these little protests all around China, and that's why the Chinese government has already implemented standard procedures to handle the situation because there are so many. So there are standard procedures to handle all this. So the government usually, for example, now the other thing is the ownership of land belongs to the government. People only got the right to use the land, not the ownership of the land. So with that concept, that means when the government is willing to exchange your rights from this land to other land, you still have the right to use the land, but just in a different place. So that solves a lot of problems. The other issues about heritage buildings. To us, 30 years, 40 years heritage. To the Chinese, if you are not over 300 years, it doesn't count. Because of it, Chinese has such a long history. So if anything you want to say, we say 30 years ago, so you basically can't do anything. So the threshold is very different. And then because of that, the Chinese government also starting to establish a kind of list of the Chinese so-called heritage. So they have two lists. One is a material inheritance. Another is the non-material inheritance, including, for example, the way to make ink, the way to make paper, or the way to make a special arts. So these are considered as non-material heritage, and they want to maintain artists to keep that art going. So there are a whole business of preserving the Chinese heritage in China, and that is a large business by itself. Because after all, you have to find a method to make the artists able to maintain their life sustainability. So they need to start creating all kinds of businesses for these people in order to maintain the Chinese heritage. This is a big deal at the moment in China. Any other questions? No? Okay, in that case, we will see you next term then. Okay, bye-bye.
Thank you.
Bye.